अस्सलाम वालेकुम वरहमतुल्लाहि वबरकातुहू। मैं हूँ आपकी मेज़बान उज़मा खान सिस्टर्स कॉर्नर में, और आप देख रहे हैं इकरा टीवी। इस वक्त हमारे साथ हमेशा की तरह एक बहुत ही ख़ास मेहमान मौजूद हैं। जैसा कि सिस्टर्स कॉर्नर में हम हर प्रोग्राम में एक ख़ास मेहमान को आपके लिए हाज़िर खिदमत करते हैं, जिसमें कि हम डिफरेंट टॉपिक्स लेके आते हैं, उस पर डिस्कशन करते हैं और आपकी फ़ीडबैक भी लेते हैं। आज के प्रोग्राम में हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं नादिया अली। I would like to say Assalamu alaikum to Nadia Ali.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming in, Nadia, in today's program. How are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm just very happy to share my experience and knowledge a little bit that I can bring.
It's my pleasure having you today in my program today. Today's topic we are going to discuss is financial crisis, which is one of the most important topic in these days. Obviously, everything is getting expensive, और जो छोटे चीज़ों से लेके बड़ी चीज़ों तक जितने भी हाउस होल्ड में चीज़ें हैं, दिन ब दिन उनकी प्राइसेस जो हैं वो बढ़ती जा रही हैं। तो इसी वजह से हमने नादिया को आज के प्रोग्राम में इनवाइट किया है, ताकि वो हमें कुछ ऐसी टिप्स दे सकें जो कि हमारे रोज़मर्रा की ज़िंदगी में हमारे काम आ सकें और हम कुछ सेविंग कर सकें। But first of all, obviously, the topic is financial crisis, and we would like to know actually what is financial crisis. So, Nadia, please, can you explain a bit in detail what is financial crisis?
Yes, in basic, in a nutshell, financial crisis is affecting every corner of UK and around the world. With the tight budgeting that's happening with the governments and the cutback in any sort of support around the councils and the government with everyday household families. So financial crisis is affecting education, being able to get tuition, to get the basic needs of food and drink. For your normal lifestyles is affecting everybody. The normal lifestyles that people had is sort of like a shorting cut because of the financial high rise of the prices.
I can see, Nadia, we are in a very, very difficult situation at the moment because prices are going up for drinks, water, food items, even basic needs, transport as well. Yeah. And people are struggling a lot, like people who were working like part-time, they're working full-time. If they were working full-time, they're doing double jobs, triple jobs, like family life, human life, everything is just getting affected by a financial crisis. Yeah. But the thing is, many people are struggling at the moment because of financial crisis, but they do not know how to cope with this sort of situation. So what would you suggest us, what kind of like ways we should, or strategies we should adopt to deal with financial crisis?
Yeah, my tool that I usually lay out when in the time of my teaching and giving, sharing my knowledge and experience with around my Croydon borough is taking certain aspects of budgeting tools, which one of them is 50, 30, 20 tool budgeting, which I take because every era has had a financial crisis, whether it's short in money, short in income, or whether even if you've got enough money, you still need to have a budget in place, a backup budgeting, sort of planning, controlling, evaluation against your outgoings, incomings, and your odds. And
so when you talk about financial crisis and budgeting, so obviously if we have budgeting, then we are less affected by financial crisis.
Yeah, we'll be ready to we'll be able to be prepared to face any difficulties for coming in with any financial difficulties, whether it's in the kitchen, whether it's in the household, whether it's transport, education, traveling, or even your healthcare. So all of these things are necessities that we need to have in place alongside with our backup financial planning and tools, budgeting to go along with it, so we can have a steady, straightforward going without any humps or any shocks or unexpected costs coming, you know. So things that we can avoid, to have a knowledge of the things that are not basic needs. How you can avoid that? I know the tempt is there, the tempting of the social media, the advertisement in the TV, the social life and the people's lifestyle, the way they carry. It can affect everybody. Oh yes, you know, I like that, or I like this, and it gets tempting. But then, you know, you need to be strict with your evaluation and your planning tools, and go back and forth with
and Nadia, here you have raised a very good point, and I really loved it, and I would like to you know, go in a little bit more detail with my viewers as well.
Yes.
You have said to us that budgeting is like dividing in different percentage. Yeah?
Yes, yeah.
So how would you divide like 50% where to go, 30% where to go, 20% where to go, so we can cope it better, in a better way?
This budgeting tool is 50, 30, 20, which is like I look at the wants as 50%, and 30% would be our needs, and 20 would be our savings. Now, you can't go wrong with this. A lot of people are...
So you mean 50% is going for our basic needs?
Basic needs.
So जो बुनियादी हमारी ज़रूरियात हैं, उसके लिए हम अपनी जो भी हमारे ख़र्चात हैं, जो भी हमारी इनकम है, उसका जो 50% है वो हमें अपनी जो बुनियादी ज़रूरियात हैं, बेसिक नीड्स हैं, उनके लिए रखना चाहिए, जो कि really good, I think. Yeah, and then
30% is our needs, जो हमको ज़रूरत पड़ती है, हमारी जो wants होती हैं, wants की मतलब हमारी ख्वाहिशात जो...
या wants में क्या चीज़ें आ जाती हैं? आप किस चीज़ को बोलेंगे?
Wants में इस तरह की आ जाती है, थोड़ी जी अपनी लाइफस्टाइल में आ जाता है, तो हमारा आपकी outgoing थोड़ा जा मतलब socializing or
like gym, clothing comes in basic needs sometimes as well.
It can come in basic, but it can become as a want as well, you know, as a want as well. So, so
or going out with friends or different celebrations.
I would call it in your essential, essential wants as well.
Yeah.
In your everyday essential would be wants, you know, with socializing with friends and family, and if you have children and things like that, you know, for extra sort of.
So जो रोज़मर्रा की हमारी ख्वाहिशात होती हैं, उनके लिए हमें 30% जो है ना वो रखना चाहिए, 50% हमारी बुनियादी ज़रूरियात बेसिक नीड्स के लिए, और जो 30% है वो हमारी रोज़मर्रा की जो ख्वाहिशात होती हैं उनको लेके चलना चाहिए. फॉर एग्जांपल इफ़ यू आर गोइंग समवेयर, यू नो, इनविटेशन पे किसी की जगह पे जा रहे हैं, किसी बर्थडे पार्टी पे जा रहे हैं, या किसी ने दावत पे बुलाया है, इसके अलावा जिम हो गया, फिर बच्चों के क्लब्स वगैरह हो गए, ये सारी चीज़ें we should be saving 30% towards that.
Yes, yeah. And then 20% I usually call it for savings. जिस तरह भी हो, must हो is deposited 20% में savings लाजमी करना है monthly. Though it slowly builds up and gives you a guidance of what you can see as your goals.
Yeah.
So you can make it more. I usually like to do more than 20% goals. It gives me that financial security and a boost.
Yeah.
To have that extra, I know that something is saving up for me, some sort of security.
So,
ये चीज़ें बच्चों को भी अपने घरों में ये बातें share करनी चाहिए, because it's a very sensitive topic. And I believe that I always encourage parents, children and teenagers or singles to share this with their partners and their family and their loved ones, how to maintain and how to do it as a teamwork. If you're living as in a home as a family, has to do it as a team. So, you know, it works very well, and so it becomes a healthy lifestyle.
As you've discussed, like 20% for our savings. Yeah, वो हमें 20% जो है वो हमें बचत करनी चाहिए, सेविंग के तौर पे रखना चाहिए. वो जो सेविंग है हम लोग गोल्ड की उसमें भी ले सकते हैं.
वो गोल्स इस तरह के हो सकते हैं कि
किसी भी तरह से
यूज़ कर सकते हैं.
लेकिन आजकल के दौर में अगर 20% नहीं हम लोग सेव नहीं कर पाते हैं, तो फिर भी कुछ ना कुछ सेविंग करनी ही चाहिए.
फिर भी अगर 10% भी हो सके, that's even good. आहिस्ता आहिस्ता बिल्डअप होता रहता है, और you know, ये चीज़ें आपको सिक्योरिटी गेन देती है, कॉन्फिडेंस देता है, और आपको more energy देती है, motivation. It gives for difficult times, and it gives you more motivation towards these goals. And then if you look at your outgoings against your incoming, your outgoing should be less than your income.
Obviously, otherwise it's really difficult.
Yeah.
If our outgoing is not matching with our incomings, because obviously if incoming is less than outgoings, then it's difficult to manage.
Yes, then you won't be able to sort of simplify your life. You won't be have those goals. You won't be able to measure those rainy days and do the evaluation of your financial page or your income and your outgoing. So evaluation is very important also, as well as having a plan, control and evaluation. That's another thing that needs to go alongside with the 50-30 rule, is the planning, controlling and evaluation. ये चीज़ें जो planning एक tool है, planning तो बगैर हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. हम दिन का आगाज़ भी शुरू करते plan के साथ शुरू करते हैं, you know, और फिर हम देखते हैं controlling का दिन में किस तरह time हमने इस्तेमाल करना है. Time और money comes hand in hand. तो आजकल लोग के पास वक्त की बात होती रहती है, लेकिन इन द सेम टाइम हम क्राइसिस में भी हैं, जो फाइनेंशियली में हम सब है इसमें. एंड तो अगर हम स्मार्ट मनी की तरह यूज़ अपना टाइम, वक्त और पैसा लेके चलें with a good plan and good ethic with the money, we can go a long way. You know, हर कोई use कर सकता है पैसा, you know.
Obviously, you know, want to spend. Spending is very easy.
Yes.
Spending is very easy. Saving is very difficult because you have to control yourself, you have to plan, and then you have to evaluate as well. Yeah.
Saving is a skill, is an art.
Comes before.
Yes, and it disciplines you, and you appreciate your life. You appreciate your lifestyle, whether it's in the middle or the high or the low. You appreciate whatever level that you bring your financial savings and budgeting in. You know, I remember when I started in just sort of like in my 50-30-20 rule, I was starting off with just 5 in my savings. Now I'm, mashallah, alhamdulillah, I like to see the progress that I've come over the years with 5 children into 30-40 savings. So again, in the 50% where we have our needs, that is essential to spend. That's we're talking about food there, your healthcare, your transport, your educational, you know, the roof or the billings and all. That's a must. That has to be prioritized. And then secondary, you come into your wants, which is a 30 that you can play around with. It can be 30, 25, and then you can actually play around with it with your savings in the 20. So it's really fun. And when you share this topic with your children or your family who you're living with, you start enjoying doing this and you start becoming an expert and skill and art to it. And then you can use your money in multiple ways and it'll serve you.
Yeah, it's a very good point when we discuss about the obviously about children, and especially when you have like teenage children, or obviously you have to give some pocket money as well, and sometimes you know, you can use your skills towards your children.
Yes, yeah.
And tell them, show them how to do some savings and where you are spending. So sometimes some sort of budgeting with kids could be helpful as well. And how about, you know, when we go, like, obviously we talk about financial crisis and budgeting, and like, what are the main steps we can take to do more savings?
I always have recommended to write down your outgoings against your income. So this is the first thing to start in. You need to write all your main outgoings, the must ones, against all your incoming. Now, when you can acknowledge and enlighten what your outgoings are, and if you can bring it down to what your income is, and you remain that, then you are steadfast, then you can see your break-even going up. And where you can highlight the things that you can go without, or the things that you don't have to sort of fit in the social life, if you can do without, you know, the expensive social side of things, you know, the essential things that you need to have for basic living, that's prioritized no matter what. So if you can acknowledge that and differentiate between these way, then you're doing good. Then you're doing a good work with your budgeting and your financial that you are given every month. Okay, students and the children, teenagers, they're going to go into education, then there's going to be health care that need to be in place. All these things are changing now in the UK. The transportation is changing. There's lots of benefits that are changing, which is affecting everybody. So I like to encourage the children, the support that you are getting from the council or the government, take it, but you have to use it wisely, because there's accountability. We need to bring accountability ourselves in the home so that we can able to take it a long way, so we don't make no hiccups or no mistakes on the way.
Because obviously when we take the responsibility, we take the accountability as well, because they both goes together.
Yes.
How about, obviously when we are discussing about budgeting and people who are on, especially on benefits as well, and there is a huge cut in benefits as well. You know, and people with no jobs, they are struggling a lot. There are single moms, there are people with, you know, no employment, unemployed, homeless people, and they have a lot of issues at the moment. And obviously when you go through the financial crisis, you cannot afford your basic needs, kids, household, and everything. And then it affects your health as well, obviously physical and mental health as well, because of financial crisis. So what advice would you give to those people who are actually on benefits and they cannot afford, obviously, themselves because they do not have enough money, they do not have a job?
Again, with the benefits that they can play around with their budgeting in there, again, is applying of the 50-30 rule. Because if, you know, you've got, I always look at that in the hierarchy, that even the royals are in a budget plan, even the organizations are in budget plan, whether it's a big plan or small plan, there is a way of survival. So survival skills you would need in whether it's in the everyday life, you have to have survival skills, whether in people skills, organization skills or business skills, and then money skills comes into it, whether if it's a small, if you're in the small era or the medium or the high, the survival skills are always there to help in every level of financial difficulties. And then I always apply 50-30-20 rule. But again, you can find the budgeting plans that suits you for your level of need and your level of income and what your situation is. So
I would say, obviously, this is a very good rule when we talk about like people who are employed at the moment. They're working and their income is very good. Their incoming is very good than outgoing. But how about those people, you know, they who are working part-time, and obviously their incoming is very less than outgoing. So, and here is a point where they are finding hard to survive. So what are the things like you think they should take to face this financial crisis?
Again, look at your needs. Evaluation is a must. You need to prioritize what is your basic needs set alongside your needs. So if your needs are higher than your basic needs, we need to bring your needs down to the, you need to bring your wants down to the needs. So this is where you need to clarify what is your needs and what is your wants and what is your, you know, the social side of needs. So if you can start acknowledging that needs has to be prioritized to the wants and to the, you know, the sociable spending and everything, then you can go quite smoothly.
But the issue is, Sister Nadia, for some people, I personally know, even their needs are very difficult at the moment. They cannot cope with their basic needs. बुनियादी ज़रूरियात वो पूरी नहीं कर पा रहे हैं अपने बजट के अंदर.
हाँ, चेंजेस भी लेके आने पड़ते हैं. तो ये चीज़ें एक एजुकेशन भी एक प्रोसेस आ जाता है. इन मनी एजुकेशन, इन योर एवरीडे लाइफस्टाइल एजुकेशन थोड़ा सा आ जाता है. थोड़ी सी एडवाइस भी ले सकते हैं अब फैमिली से, फ्रेंड्स से. There's lots of help available in Croydon, and to get some advice how to do your balancing of your budgeting for whatever income that you have, that you hold. There's alternatives of doing your needs. There's you don't have to shop in a designer shops or anything like that. You can go in the everyday essential shops. And basic needs वहाँ भी हो जाती पूरी. लेकिन आजकल लोग होते हैं कि घबराते भी, why should I have to go to that everyday essential shop way, which is the smart way. आजकल गाड़ियाँ भी स्मार्ट वे की गाड़ियाँ भी चला सकते हैं एक किसी ने.
That's a very good point, Sister Nadia. But because the time is for a short break,
yes,
and I will come back on this point and we will discuss further in detail. तमाम व्यूअर्स इस वक्त जो प्रोग्राम देख रहे हैं सिस्टर्स कॉर्नर IQRA TV पे, वक्त हो जाता है एक छोटी सी ब्रेक का, और छोटी सी ब्रेक के बाद दोबारा हाजिर खिदमत होते हैं. हमारे साथ रहिएगा सिस्टर्स कॉर्नर में, और छोटी सी ब्रेक के बाद दोबारा हाजिर खिदमत होते हैं.